To impose one's will on another, in a way which deprives the individual of the privilege of exercising his own free will, is one of the greatest crimes that man can commit. What is happening now in South Africa is a crime against all humanity. Racism itself is a crime. Thao, I interrupted, there is something I don't understand. You say that you prevented the Germans from being the first to have the atomic bomb, but why did you not prevent all countries from having it? You must admit that, at the point we have arrived at with atomic arms, we are sitting on a volcano. What do you say of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Don't you feel in some way responsible? Michel, of course you look at such things in a very simplified way. Everything for you is black or white, but there are also many shades of grey. If the Second World War had not been stopped, as it was by the bombing and destruction of those two cities, there would have been many more deaths, 3 times as many as there were victims of the atomic bombs. As you say in your language, we chose the lesser of the two evils. As I have told you before, we can lend a hand but we don't concern ourselves with the fine details of a situation. There are very strict rules to be followed. The bomb had to exist just as on all planets it is eventually discovered. Once in existence we can either watch what ensues, as spectators, or we can intervene. If we intervene, it is to give an advantage to the side which is most sincere and most respectful of individual liberty. If certain of the leaders who read your book don't believe you, or doubt what is written, challenge them to explain the disappearance of billions of needles put into orbit around Earth several years ago. Ask them also to explain the second disappearance of billions more needles again put into orbit. They will know what you are referring to, never fear. We are responsible for the disappearance of these needles, judging them to be potentially disastrous for your planet. We do, at times, prevent your experts from playing with matches, but it is important that our assistance not be relied upon when mistakes are made. If we judge it appropriate to lend a hand, we do so, but we can't, and we don't wish to save you from disaster automatically. That would be to contravene universal law. You see, Michel, atomic weaponry seems to cast fear into the hearts of people of Earth, and I admit that it is a sword of Damocles suspended over your heads, but it is not the real danger. 1 Needles 11 years after Michel's adventure, Scientific American, August 1998, Volume 279, NR2, article by N.L. Johnson, p. 63 in US edition, explains, 80 clumps of needles were released in May 1963 as part of US Department of Defense telecommunication experiment. The radiation pressure exerted by sunlight was to have pushed the tiny needles, all 400 million of them, out of orbit. Has anyone ever heard of anything